So I'm the classic example of somebody who's been through an incredible amount of college stress. I was managing my company, JobSpire, and college at the same time. It was extraordinarily challenging, and if you've heard the stories, I actually started having panic attacks somewhere in the middle. And I had these panic attacks because I just wasn't able to manage both. I was sleeping 3 or 4 hours a night, and it just got so difficult and draining that some days I just felt like quitting college. In this video, I want to tell you my learnings from that era and how I eventually learned to manage college stress. In essence, it's more like a mindset shift first, and then it's a tactical shift. So you take from this video what you can and apply it in your life. The first thing is, please, for God's sake, understand that 99.9% of the time, the assignments, the vivas, the whatnot in college are all bullshit. It's all a scam. Like, you will probably use 0.1% of that in the real world, right? So it has no correlation with the real world. This is what I like to call busy work, fake work. So me as a teacher that's copied this assignment problem from somewhere and given it to you, and then you're going to go to Wikipedia, copy it and put it on the piece of paper, do you really think that matters? Do you really think that in any way evaluates you, makes you a better person, improves your skill? It doesn't. Even if it does, it's like very little, right? Even exams to a very large extent are not how the real world works. The real world rewards failure. You fail, you understand from that failure, then you become successful. In an exam, you're penalized for getting marks wrong. All the way from exams to assignments, it's all bullshit, right? And you can actually send this video to your parents as well. If you're a parent, please listen to me for 1 minute. Every assignment that your child has done in the last 1.5 to 2 years, there might be exceptions, but most of the time is nonsense. It doesn't help them in the real world. It's not even a reflection of how that thing works in the real world. For example, I was given an assignment on a microprocessor that doesn't exist anymore, and I just copied the entire Wikipedia article, put it and got full marks. Right? It's just busy work. And the thing is, it stresses out your child. Right? What you don't want is a child who has a lot of marks but is completely useless in the real world. I've seen this because I interview these sort of people every day. These are people with like great marks, and on their resume there's a GPA somewhere that they put in, and they put in their 10th and 12th score. I don't even look at it. And I'm very sure that a lot of top recruiters and employers don't look at it either. We want to see what your child has done in the real world. We do not want to see what your child has done in a mock world, which is what college is. Now, what actually does matter is if your child has gone to an IIT, because we then know that your child has passed a very tough entrance exam and has a proven track record of hard work and also has a great alumni. Now, the reason large companies like Infosys might be interested in GPA is because their automated systems look at your GPA number. That's it. I worked in recruitment for 3 years, both for large companies, medium-sized companies, and small companies. They do not care anymore. There was a time where that was the only metric, that was the only thing we could evaluate. So we evaluated that. But today there are so many other things we can evaluate. What are your child's portfolio? What are your child's projects? What are your child built? What has your child been involved in outside of college? These are the things that we are more interested in. So the less seriously you take the stress, paradoxically the less stressed you get. My friend Goku here was fighting an enemy called Hit. And they were fighting in a show match for the gods, right? So there are gods in the Dragon Ball Super series, and Goku is fighting an enemy called Hit. And the gods tell Goku and Hit to do something, right? And Hit gets very upset. He says, why should I listen to these people? And Goku says, we just got to play their game till we can play ours. And this is exactly how the real world works. With college, you just got to play their game till you can get out. After that, you realize, oh shit, college was so far behind. Because from the time you start college to the time college ends, the 4 years, the world would have radically changed. Even your assignments would be extinct. So I remember in the last generation, people used to get caught with calculators in an exam and be asked the question, hey, do you think you'll always carry a calculator in your pocket? And the answer is yes. This device, this information machine is always in our hands. Turns out we have internet all the time. Now it's about critical thought, analysis. Can you take an article, break down the important bits? Can you apply this article in the real world? Because information is at your fingertips and college is still testing information. You have all the textbooks in the world in your pocket. So you don't need to do that any longer. You need to rather understand, apply. The next tip is to use your network. See, you and I both know the system is a fraud. Right? Even the parents have started realizing this, especially the parents who are seeing their children do this stuff on Zoom, know that this is not worth the amount of money being paid. But here's the thing, you don't have a choice but to be involved in this. You've already paid for it, you're in the middle of it, you might as well finish your degree. The thing is, there are ways around this, there are smart ways around this that I started employing in the last 2 years of college. What I started doing was, I started making friends with the smartest people in class. And by friends, I mean truly friends. I used to hang out with them, I used to take them out for coffee. What I used to do is whenever an exam or an assignment came up, I'd always take their help. Now you might say, Varun, you taking another person's assignment and changing it a little bit, isn't that cheating? Isn't that copying? The thing is, I knew that assignments in general were useless in the real world. And I'm not promoting cheating or copying of any kind, right? But what I'm saying is, if somebody's giving you a bullshit assignment to keeping you busy, I would rather take somebody else's help and then focus on my own business, or focus on learning something, or focus on actually creating something where there is real value. So I have no mercy and I have no remorse for any of this. I know a lot of people, especially the backbenchers, who will bully the people in the front bench, but go to them when an exam comes up, right? That is so silly. Why do you expect the front bencher to help you now? Firstly, bullying in itself is such a weak habit. On top of that, you're going to that person for help just before the exams happen. Instead, build a genuine relationship. You don't have to be their friends every single day, but once in a while, take them out to coffee, make them feel good. Talk to them, be nice, be kind. People remember how you made them feel. That's a quote by Mayya. The next thing is, I found that number of hours you spend in a day in class is actually usually wasted. You're either sleeping or writing on the desk or doing something stupid. Instead, write notes. I found that writing notes and paying attention in class was super useful, because now I don't have to do this again. I'm doing the understanding bit in the class. Believe it or not, if you actually paid attention to the teachers, they are actually helping you pass, right? It's not like they're going there and just rapping, right? They are trying to help you understand. They might not be the best teachers. They might not do the method acting required to keep you interested, sure. But if you can pay a little bit of attention, it saves you time from studying and doing your assignments later. And don't miss class. I used to go to this tuition center when I was in the 8th or 9th grade, where I missed one class, and after that I didn't understand context of any of the other classes after that. When we did our Avalon Meta Pro Leagues, when I was teaching game design, the number one predictor of whether you got a placement or not was how many classes you attended. And if you missed one or two classes in between, you were screwed. You didn't understand anything of what would happen after that. The minute you lose context, you also lose interest. So unless you have the energy to go back and see the class from yesterday, and believe it or not, in school and college, unless it's Zoom, classes are not recorded. They're only live, right? The teacher's there. There's no one holding a camera and recording the teacher. So you miss a class, you miss the class, right? So try not to miss classes. Even though I'm the biggest believer that colleges should have zero attendance policy and you should be able to do whatever you want. But don't do half-half. Don't sit in class, waste 8 hours a day, get nothing out of it, and then restart studying again at the end of the year. I do either of the two, no? And finally, remember that you can make teachers your enemy, or you can make them your allies. The same way you make the front benchers your allies, the people who study your allies, you can also make teachers your allies, right? Help them. Ask them, how can I help you? Just ask them. Tell them, good work on this. Thank you, I understood. Thank you for teaching so well. Show that humility, show that vulnerability. Make friends. Just because they're older doesn't mean you can't make friends with them. They'll be more lenient on you, they'll mark you better. See, remember, your names are on the answer sheet. For some colleges where your names are not on the answer, that rarely happens. But with tests and assignments, your names are on the answer sheet. So they will look at you and they'll be like, I like this person, so I'll give him 1 extra mark. You think it doesn't happen? You think teachers are unbiased? Never. Teachers are not unbiased. They are human beings just like you and me. If they like something, they'll give it extra. If they hate something, they give it nothing. Just how the world works. Alright, so that's all I gotta say, right? At the end of the day, you should make this bullshit system of assignments and tests and whatnot easier for you rather than harder. Get the right allies, get the right focus, and make sure you remember that this is nonsense at the end of the day. So even if you do badly, no harm. As long as you upskill yourself. If you're not upskilling yourself and you're just complaining about this, then you're going to lose either way. You not only wasted time, you're still losing, right? So you have to upskill yourself. Do not rely on college to do it for you. That's all I got to say. Bye.
Do that, we the best coming out of BK. I thought you knew that. Step up in the function, all these women like who that got me looking like money. Yeah, they love me, yeah, true that. Big racks, new bag, new swag. We ain't cutting no slack. Why they